All right, End Hype Live. My name is Callie Keen. Thank you for joining us. We have an amazing guest, Krista. Krista, you are a real estate agent, but you're also a powerhouse coach. You're teaching people to go from a local power player to a national powerhouse. And I'm on your website right now, and it's in huge text and really colorful. And it really really grabs my attention. But so many people are wrapped up about branding and marketing, not just in the real estate agent, but just in not just in the real estate game, but like in general. You know, about creating a personal brand and creating a company brand and all of that stuff. I'd love to get into it, but first, um, can you tell us a little bit the story of Krista? Who are you? How'd you get here?
Yes, and thank you so much, Callie, for having me. I really appreciate it. I love what you do, and I just want to let you know I'm honored to be here. So thank you for choosing me and letting me come on. I'm super excited for this. So I'm looking forward to it all week. So thank you, thank you. I used to be a teacher. I taught third grade for 6 years. I got a master's degree in curriculum and instruction and a bachelor's degree in psychology. And my goal in life was to become a teacher, and then I was going to become a principal. And my daughter, it's been about 20 years now, got super, super sick, and we thought she was going to die. So I ended up leaving my teaching profession to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom and take care of her. And she ended up being wonderful, aside from having ADHD, which I think that's just from me. But she's in great health now, 20 years later. But what happened is I was married at the time. I just bought a new house, had two young daughters, and I had found out that my husband at the time was having an affair. So I had to dive into real estate because we had just purchased a home, and he moved out and drained our bank accounts. And here I am with two daughters and a 4,000 square foot house, and with nothing. So it really quickly went from me playing real estate to selling 69 homes my first year in the industry. And
Wow.
yeah. And since then I've sold, I'm in the top 1% of agents, but so I did that for a long time. And then about 3 years ago, I decided, I miss teaching and coaching. And so I left the real estate industry. I still do real estate, but I do it kind of like really, 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 really part-time. I spend about 5 hours a month on real estate. And I have my brother that kind of is taking over my position. I'm like the face of it. I'm the one that is on the videos and on the content. And now Josh is one that actually shows up and takes the listing. So now I'm coaching, and I have been coaching for about 3 years, and we've just brought that business to 7 figures in less than 3 years. And it's from the exact strategy that I'm going to talk to you about today.
Oh, that's phenomenal. And just for our non-real estate, non-realtor guests, 69 homes in a year is a lot of homes, right?
Yeah.
Like not just a lot, but it's like an absurd a lot, right?
Yeah. And that was my first year. My best year was 169 homes. And it's not a big team. It was just me, an assistant, and a transaction coordinator. So people will say, "Oh, we sold 100 homes or whatever," and they've got 20 people. It was just myself. So yeah, average 100 a year. This year I only did 90 homes, but we did over 1.15 million in gross commissions. But again, I only work on that business like 5 hours a month. My brother acts as me. If I was still working in that business, we would have done a lot more. But I'm just kind of a workaholic. My brother's got way more balance, so therefore he'd rather be at home at the gym than work like I used to. So. Kind of a little different, but
I just wanted to set that aside because that it's worth mentioning, right? Yeah, I wanted to frame that for people as like, if you have a friend that's in real estate, they might sell 1 home a year or 10 homes a year if they're good, not 100 plus homes in a year. So
yeah,
I just want everybody to know that you're a badass, first of all, before we get on with
there's a lot of realtors out there. There's a lot of realtors out there. So it's one of the most saturated, right next to coaching, right? One of the most saturated industries out there. And so the strategy that we're going to talk about today to become, and it's more so of a local, celebrity type of a thing. It's way easier to do than nationally. So for any type of local business, local professional, doctor, insurance agent, attorney, mortgage broker, window washer, pretty much, babysitter, pretty much anything, at-home business, multi-level marketing, this is the strategy that we're going to talk about today, absolutely can catapult you. So we've helped people that were brand new in industries start beating top producing agents. We've helped people that were doing really well, 100 homes a year, go to 300 homes a year. We've helped mediocre agents that were doing 40 homes go to 70 homes a year, within a year's time frame. So, a year or 2.5 years, to get from 100 to 300, but it works fabulously if you're willing to put in the time.
Yeah. Well, you got me super excited because I think we talked about this a while back, but traditionally I'm a consultant. I'm more of a consultant. So my background being in product development and manufacturing. So I would consult people, and I'm dipping my toe into the coaching water. So like with group coaching and more like semi-involved, right? So like limited access that's kind of how I divide the consulting. I'm going to do it with you, and the coaching, you're going to do it yourself, but you have all the information. So I'm dipping my toe in that water. And what I've found is exactly what you said is there's a coach for everything. And for everything, there's 10 million coaches. Right? Yeah.
A lot of coaches, especially in like real estate and digital marketing, like everyone's trying to be a coach. What's that saying? Though, for those that can't do, teach, So be careful. Make sure you hire someone that actually does what it is you're trying to do. It's very important.
Yeah. It sounds like it makes sense, but you can look at some of the top people in the industry and they're pretty much just known for coaching. So again, that's why it's important to frame our conversation. Hey, this lady's done this, so I just want everybody to know we're not getting fake gurus here on End Hype. We're getting End Hype people. So, but no, that aside, like you've reeled me in. I'm curious. I want to know more. What do you got? What do you got for me?
Okay, so let's talk about, first of all, so it evolved. So I'm going to tell you the 8 C's. You want to commit to consistently producing content correctly meaning the right content to the right people, and correctly making sure you're distributing it so it's actually being seen. If you do that, you're going to make a connection, so you're going to convert more clients and customers. Okay, so there's a reason why McDonald's will market and advertise during the Super Bowl, even though it's probably 500 times more expensive than doing it on a Thursday afternoon, because they know how powerful it is to have eyes on you, right? The power of suggestion, the power of seeing somebody. A good example is my husband and I last night. We got a text message from Taco Bell. From Straw Hat, and it was like, "Hey, pizza $19.99 and 2-liter Coke." And so we went to Straw Hat last night just from that text message. Okay. Wow. So imagine, and we've done that like on various Tuesdays, because that's when we always get that yeah, that's when we get that. Right?
You get pinged.
Yeah, we get pinged. So they must know we like to go on Tuesdays. So or Mondays. So, and actually, I'm thinking about, they actually changed the day. I think we get it on Tuesdays and we've had it on Thursday. They changed the day now that I'm thinking about that. Because I thought last night was Tuesday, because that always went on Tuesday, but today is Tuesday. So, so when you start producing content, number one, it positions you as the authority. And so, for example, I may sell 150 plus homes a year, but if nobody knows that, it doesn't make a difference, right? I'm an expert in real estate. I'm an expert in digital marketing. I have 5 2 Comma Club awards. I'm getting my 10X award. Like, I'm an expert in digital marketing. But if no one knows that, it doesn't make a difference, and I'm not going to be able to help anybody. So in order for me to be known, I have to be seen and I have to be heard. But I don't just want to say, oh, I've sold 2,200 homes in my career. You've got to hire me. I'm the best #1 realtor. I'm the best digital marketer, blah, blah, blah. People are like, we don't care. We don't care anything about what you're doing. We care about how you can help us. So if I produce content that is solving a problem my client avatar, I'm positioning content in front of them that really is helping them. It searches a need. It serves a need. It's delivering something that they actually need and want. Then I'm going to be getting their attention. And now, as I'm getting their attention, I'm starting to develop a relationship with them. It's actually called a parasocial relationship, a one-sided relationship. And then now they're starting to kind of know me, to like me, to trust me, and see me as the authority figure. And they're developing a relationship with me. And by the time I finally meet them, they feel like they know me. Okay. So if I'm competing for the work, and this happens to me all the time when in real estate. So I would like be sitting in my car waiting for my appointment. I'd see another top producer walk by, or I'd be walking out and I'd see another person walking in, right? Because they're interviewing most of us. And I'll tell you what, I got those listings over 99% of the time, over 99%. And the reason being is because they already knew they were going to hire me before I even got there. Okay. And then all the things that I do prior to going to that appointment are very, very important. They get a 17-minute long marketing video from me. They get a copy of my digital book. I mean, I can go on and on about that process, but I'm making sure that not only am I solidifying my relationship, I'm winning before I arrive, as one of my mentors, Sharon, always says. I'm winning before I arrive to the appointment because they already know who I am. And then I'm making sure I win once I get there by doing something different than my competitors are doing, right? Giving them a super unique value add and doing a great job. And then I'm making sure after I leave, I follow that up with more content, a video bomb text message thanking them, blah, blah, blah. And all the while online, I'm targeting them, putting more specific content in front of them that's about selling, targeting them with testimonial videos, targeting them with marketing videos that I've done on other properties, targeting them with more information that's relevant to what they originally wanted to do. My conversions now are skyrocketed, right? So that strategy that I just told you about, just that one strategy, resulted in 48 seller transactions last year, generating over $740,000 in real estate commissions. Okay. 48 transactions is that's more than most people do in 10 years, let alone in 1 year. Right.
Yeah.
And from that one strategy. And the reason that it was so powerful was because I'm literally like a little mini local celebrity. I can never have an affair on my husband. Not what I ever want to, but if I ever did, the whole world would know because people know me everywhere. I can't go anywhere, whether it's Walmart in my pajamas and people are like, Krista, what's the market doing? Oh my gosh, did you see that house that went up for sale on Lighthouse Way? Oh my goodness, I think it was so overpriced and it sold. And I'm like, yeah. And they are talking to me like we're long lost best friends because in their mind, we are. Right. And so, I mean, my kids are always like, Mom, you're so annoying. Everywhere we go, everyone knows you. And because I had to move out of the freaking city so that people don't always ask me if I'm your daughter. And it's so annoying, but it's great for business.
Yeah. There's a lot of little pieces that I want to pull out of that. And the first thing that I heard you say, and I think this is unique and really is a differentiator, is before the meeting, you set the stage to win and you send them a video. You said a 17-minute video and you send them a book. And that alone, I'm like, what percentage of people, and in our audience, whatever industry you're in, what percentage of people do that, right? What percentage of people add value before the negotiation? Or, I mean, even after, right? 0.001%.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so before I show up, I've dropped off a copy of my book, right? I've dropped a copy of it off. I've sent a digital copy. I've dropped off my marketing plan. I sent a digital copy. I've done a video bomb message saying, hey, check your porch. I just left a market analysis on your porch. I've then gone home if it was just a CMA drop off, and I've reviewed the CMA via Zoom and showed them, like, went over the analysis with them and emailed them that. Then I've done the bomb video, like I talked about, right? And then before, I've sent them a listing presentation video. And then after, I followed up with a, hey, great meeting you. Can't wait to work with you video, right? And I mean, and then a text reminder video, a phone call reminder video for my staff. No one else has done any of those things. Maybe maybe 1 out of 20 would do a, hey, don't forget about our meeting tomorrow, phone call reminder, maybe, but most agents don't. And I've already done like 11 touches. So each touch is just, it's putting in the mind of my customer, that's how I do business. And they all say just what you just said, man, you're the only one that did that. And I go, I know. And guess what? If I treat you this good before I'm working with you and I don't have your business yet, just imagine how good it's going to be after. My job is to get a 5-star review from you, and I start that before I even start working with you. And they're just like, okay. And then I remind them, throughout the transaction about all the great things we're doing to get the 5-star review at the end. So the reviews come very, very easily. So yes, you win before you arrive. You win when you get there. It just is marvelous. And really quickly, Kelly.
Yeah.
I know most people are absolutely fearful of video. If you ask 100 people if they like to do video, 98% would rather eat dog poop than watch video. They would. They're just
no, it's true.
Yeah. They're afraid of what they're going to look like, how they sound. People are going to think of them. Are they going to make a mistake? Do they look ugly? I'm too skinny. I'm too fat. I'm too old. I'm too young. Like, you name it. Everyone's thought it. I don't like my nose. My nose is big. That's my own issue, right? We all have something. But anything can be learned, and everyone is going to, some people say, well, I'm not as energetic, or I'm not this. It's like, you're going to attract just your right ideal client. They're going to be attracted to you. Not everybody can handle my personality. They're just like, man, she has way too much energy for me. And so you attract your ideal customer client, your ideal avatar. And then working with them becomes much more enjoyable. And then who they refer you to, because like attracts like, typically is also that way. So the whole experience just, is easier and more fun than the opposite way. And once you start creating video content, it's fun, right? And so the next thing we should talk about is like, what would you say? People always want to know
that. Yeah, well, I mean, at first you go through a phase where you're like, oh, should I talk about this thing? It's very transactional, it's clear cut. And then as it's like a lot of things in life. You have to give yourself permission to get better, right? So to understand that it's about gaining mastery, it's not having mastery, right? So people want to be immediately good at something. And if you're seeing somebody that's amazing on video, unless they are some freakish talent, right? Most likely they sucked for 500 hours, right? Or whatever it is, right? And so you're like, wow, Chris is so amazing and she's so energetic. It's like, yeah, she puts out a lot of content. Like that's like, that's what you're seeing is the result of effort and practice and hard work. It's not just you just bought some sound tiles and put them behind you and then you're a pro, right?
Yes, exactly. And I love that, because at first you're worried, you're scared, and it just gets easier with time, right? It just gets easier. And even now still, I'm like, I know that I have to get up in the morning and take a shower, wash my hair and do my makeup, or I probably won't do a video. So I start my day off by getting up and being on a schedule and making sure I get ready, so that if I do have that great moment or idea, I'm not afraid to pull my camera out. And you don't need to have great effects or anything. You don't even need to have, years ago, I did a video where I had to pay this company over $1,000. I think it was $2,000 to do like a 1-minute ad video for me that played at the movie theaters. And I had to spend $3,000 a month at the movie theaters for me to do this little mini video commercial. Now I can do that for free with my cell phone. And I can get hundreds of hours of watch time for $100 or $200 in ad spend, right? And I can do it every couple times a week. And before you know it, I'm just all of a sudden, I'm like just branding. Nobody can go anywhere in my town without knowing who. Everyone knows me. You have to be seriously sitting under a rock or sleeping under a rock or deaf and blind in order for you not to know who I am. It's impossible, right? Because I'm just constantly showing up in your feed.
Well, something interesting as well that fired off is because you're selling an experience, which for everybody that is watching, they've probably heard me harp on this a million times, is that people they're worried about selling a product or a service. And the people that are in the best of the market, they look at the whole experience. They look at what their customer's trying to achieve, and they look at it end to end, and they create their own bubble. And you've entered the Krista bubble, right? And there's experience from end to end. And you're doing that. But like what this made me think of is, now that I've entered this whole like ecosystem, you probably get a lot of word of mouth, or a higher percentage word of mouth than the average person. Cause people are like, oh shit, look at this. Look what, like she just sent me this whole book. She just sent me this. I just got this bonbon from her. And for people that are watching, bonbon is targeted video that you can do in emails, and you can do it in response. And it's really powerful. There's a couple tools out there that do it, but I just think what you're doing must be inherently more shareable. So probably overall you spend less money on paid ads, because people are just, they're preaching you, right?
I call it the 5 R's. You get more referrals, you retain more people are going to resell with you, and you get that through rituals and routines, right? Your referral business goes up like crazy, and you retain and you get more repeat business because people don't forget about you, right? You retain current clients and past clients, you get more referrals from those, and more people are going to continue to want to work with you and resell with you because they don't forget about you. That is one of the most things we hear all the time. My referrals have just gone through the roof. Or, hey, my girlfriend from kindergarten called me to list her house because, she's seeing me on 30 years later on video. That is so common. And even your own customers that love you. Like, I'll give you an example. We just built a new home about 2 years ago, and we had custom closets put in, and we had these blinds put in. And I loved my blind lady and I loved my custom closet lady, but they have never kept in contact with me. And they haven't sent me anything in the mail or any kind of video marketing or any kind of ad or any kind of anything. And I don't remember their names. I don't remember their names or their company. And I am in real estate and I get asked all the time for blinds, and I have not been able to refer them once because I forgot. And I love them. But we forget, we're busy, right? And so this way, you're making it impossible for people to want to forget about you. And also, if you have any kind of niche marketing, I'll tell you, it works so well with niching, because when somebody's messaging speaks to somebody, and what I mean by that is, I am going through menopause, so if I hear things like, hot flashes and night sweats, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. I'm clicking. I want to watch that, right? I all these things are driving me crazy. But if I hear something like hair club for men, I'm swiping left. I'm not watching. So the more the content speaks to somebody, the more likely they are to convert, right? The more likely they are to click.
Oh, yeah.
And the more that you continue to give that type of information, because you can retarget people, you can tell how much content somebody watched. And if they're watching 50, 75, 100% of a video, most likely they're interested in that subject. I'm going to send something else that's very similar. Now they're going to be more likely to convert down here than they were if you started trying to get the conversion up on top.
Yeah, it makes sense. And you can't do that with your advertisement in the movie theater, right? You can't do retarget campaigns. So there you go. You get the double dip, and it's smarter ad spend if you can build that up. But it becomes a game where you have to keep playing that game. So you have to create the habit of that communication and the habit of that content. It's not just I think people want marketing and branding to be like a done and done situation, right?
Remember, commit to consistently producing content. That's the first three of the C's, right? You got to commit. So true. And what happens is all of a sudden, after doing this for a few months, you go from being busy to being extremely busy because of the momentum and the compound effect of it. Like all of a sudden, we've had people go, man, it's not happening. It's been 4 months. I've been so consistent. And month 5, they're like, holy crap, I have 12 right now. It's like, and it happens all the time, but most people will stop at month 2 or 1 or week 2. They won't keep going. And so they never get a chance to see that huge, massive result from their efforts.
That makes sense. You're always like 6 months or 12 months out from seeing benefit. And this is the thing, is like when we slack off, you can see that benefit right away, right? You get to not do anything. But when you're investing in your brand or investing in your business or your health or whatever, the actual benefits of it are farther away. So you're kind of reaping the benefits of your behavior from 12 months ago right now. So I could see how that would be challenging for people, because.
And then it becomes easy, right? Because then, like, think about it. Once you produce content, it's like it's working for you while you're sleeping, like while you're on vacation, or where you're, I didn't do open houses or work nights or cold call or door knock. And that's the main way that agents get business, is they do open houses. They work every weekend. I didn't work weekends. I didn't work nights, because my content was working for me while I wasn't, right? So, somebody will do an open house and they'll get 10 people through, and I'll show them how I can do a video and get 150,000 people to watch, to see it. And, 500 hours of watch time. Like, what's more effective? And if I do that a week, right, I'm just like, absolutely much more effective. It would take agents like 17 lifetimes to be able to do that, right? You can't work that much to get the kind of content and eyes on you if you do it this way. And that's with any profession.
That's wild. And I can see how this is easy. It's easier to do locally as well. So it's kind of, dominate your block, dominate your neighborhood, dominate your city. And if you're a plumber, right, you're a roofer, if you're, a real estate agent like yourself, if you're inherently local anyways, and a lot of people are focused on becoming famous for no reason versus being effective, for a specific purpose. So
locally is so much easier, because so like for me to become known online as a coach, I had to market across the country, right? So if I'm going to spend $100 on ad spend, I've got to send it to, every person in the United States. It's like, I'm getting nothing out of that. But if I spend $100 locally, right?
Like dust into the wind, like nothing. Like nothing.
Yeah, it's so true. But if I do it locally, it's like, man, I'm getting eyes on me. and I'm
Yeah.
doing it over and over. It's like, wow, I mean, it's like taking that commercial at the movie theater and putting crack cocaine on it and sticking it in a rocket ship, and it's like rocket fuel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Or pennies to the dollar.
yeah, we've done a lot of event marketing locally, and $100 will get you an absurd amount of attention. So it's
Yeah.
like more people will watch the pre-video or after video of an event than attended the event by a factor of 10 or 100 to 1 with very little very little money. Probably less than I spent on pizza to feed the people that went to the event. More people would watch the post video for the same amount of money. So it's
Yeah.
like it's amazing what you can do when you're locally targeted. And it the only point in that case would be I want more people to come to the event. I want people to know that, hey, here's our awesome speakers that we had. Here's by the way, here's me organizing this event, and here it is. But yeah, it totally makes sense. Is like if I were to try to do that on the national level and get attention, I have to put 2 zeros at the end of it to get any level of effectiveness, right? So
Yes, absolutely. Or
yeah.
3 zeros.
3 zeros, yeah. Well, there's a lot of people in that coaching consulting space that are spending insane money. So like
Yeah.
in the mid 7 figures a month on Facebook ads. So when you're trying to compete in that space, it doesn't even matter how niche down your space is. You're competing in a unfavorable conditions. So
Yeah.
yeah, but no, that is cool. Um, can you give me like what's an example of somebody that you've helped or you've seen that transformation with them to like see what they started creating content, it was hard, and like what happened with them?
So I'll never forget. So I've got a ton of stories like this. In fact, if
Yeah.
you go to KristaMashore.com/wins, you'll just see hundreds and hundreds of stories of people that we've helped. But so like, let's just say Leslie Bennett is a good example. And when she started from January to April, she had only sold 2 homes. She started coaching with me, and I remember at month like 3 or so, she was like, "Oh my gosh, my family is making fun of me for creating these videos. I live in a really small town. People keep asking me why I'm doing these dumb videos." And she's like, "I don't know, Kristen." I says, "Just keep on going." No more than 30, let's just say 45 days goes by, and she posts on Facebook, "Oh my God, y'all, it does come. I got 12 listings, like right now, coming up, and 4 in contract." And she goes like, "It's unbelievable how busy I am." It was like 30 or 45 days later. And now, so that first year she went from doing 2 deals in 4 months to closing the year out with 26 deals. And then 26, and then in 8 months she did 24 deals, and she only did 2 deals in 4 months. Then so now it's been about 2.5 years, and this year she did, I think, 113 transactions, and she's opened up her own brokerage and has a buyer's agent and a small team under her. So she was somebody who was like doing really, really bad. Then we've taken an agent who was already a top producer, selling about 103, 108 homes a year. And that first year they went from 103 to 188 in 1 year. So they did 85 more. Now they're just under 300. So after just about 3 years, they went from 100 to 300. And we've taken brand new agents that within a year are beating out top producers that have dominated their markets. And they're going in there and showing their unique competitive value add, and how they're not only marketing themselves, but how they do the same thing for their properties, and how that makes them so different from other agents. And they're getting higher priced properties. They're not getting boggled over commission, and they're beating out top producers. And it doesn't happen for everybody. And the reason being is many people just don't give it the time it takes, or they won't put the ad spend behind it, or they don't do their videos on time. They'll just do one. So you really got to follow the process. You got to be committed to it. You got to be consistent. You've got to pay to get people to pay attention. People will ask me, "Well, Krista, should I put it on my Facebook page or my personal page or my business page?" And I'm like, it doesn't make a difference. No one's seeing
Yes.
it,
Yes,
right?
you should.
Like the only one that's seeing it is your grandma and your daughters and your husband and people that already know you. You want everyone else to see it. So you've got to run an ad behind it and start targeting people and retargeting people, and that's what you need to do.
Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense. Yeah. Well, it kind of goes to it's interesting in this space that less that not as many people do it because we're all familiar with seeing the ads, and like coming from like my perspective of launching products and like looking at that's, I mean, that's exactly how we launch products, right? We create content around it, different types of content, and then we retarget video views, and then, drive to a landing page, and then you have your nurture sequence, and then you retarget with more, more ads, and you build up all this hype, all this steam, and then you launch the product to like this red hot market, right? And it's interesting that you take that, and the coaching market has this down like 100%, but then you take it right over to like a plumber or real estate agent. They're like, I don't know anybody that does this. We're buying billboards, or we're buying bench seats, or we're putting our names on our business cards, and that's our trick, so people remember
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
face. And I'm
That's
like,
exactly right.
I'm like, this whole industry is like 10 years ahead of you, and you can take this technology that they have and just transport it. And it's like blue ocean strategy, right?
Yep.
Like
Then
nobody's doing it.
exactly right. And no one's doing it. And many people are like hiring these companies to post on their pages and do all this. And I'm like, don't waste your money. Even if you're only spending $100 a month, you're wasting it. No one's seeing it,
Yeah, I thought this wasn't the case, and then I had a separate conversation with somebody about social media, and they're doing really well on Instagram and with Instagram Reels, and what they were describing, I was like, well, everybody that's probably under the age of 50 knows exactly what you're talking about. So I don't know why this is a big mystery, but no one in her whole department, no agent, no, not her boss, no, everybody was like, I can't believe this. This is amazing. Like, what are you doing? Like, how much does this cost to do this? And she's like, I'm just using Instagram. Like, I'm just posting like a reel of me at the house, like playing with this amazing faucet that's at this home, right? And showing off the shower that's really, really great. And getting 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, 100,000 views on her reels. And it's like she's not even doing, she like evolved it into a strategy, but it wasn't really that complicated. It's just that's like what normal people do on Instagram who know how to use Instagram.
Yeah.
And she's like, I just use social media the way that it's for. And the only way that they use it in their department right now is like to show a picture of the house and say sold. Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, we're competent because we sell houses. Like, that's your job. Like,
Yeah.
that's your job. That's not impressive at all. Like that's like exactly the transaction. There's no like buffering or building a community or an audience. There's no showing what you're up to. There's no like brand story or personal story. It's just like, we're impressive because look, you can swipe. We sold 5 houses this month. It's like,
Yes.
well, like I can't buy any of them. So like, why did you spend money on me seeing this? Because I don't care. Like, show me the awesome houses that you have for sale. And like, that will show me that you can get listings. And it'll also maybe show me a house that I want to buy. Like, it doesn't make sense. And then you hear what you're saying, which I know that if I were to hire you as a coach, that you're going to walk me through all the finer points of it and create a system. But what you're saying is like, yes, lots of people do that. You just are going to provide more context of how it's going to work for me. But it's really interesting with what you're saying and what this other person is saying, that they're just not doing it. People just aren't doing it. Right?
Yeah, it works for any industry, right? Any industry. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the exact same strategy I used to be a coach nationally. It just cost me a lot more to do it, right? To get that reach, but it works. I mean, it works, and it just, you just got to get over that fear, and you have to just do it consistently and just start making a habit of it. And what I tell people is do it for the first thing that you in the morning. Eat that frog. What you hate to do it sooner, right? So that you can just get it over with, and then you feel confident. You're not worried about it all day, and it's done. And and then maybe go ahead and do a couple of stories where you just pull out your phone and you talk about something you just learned, or you show what you had for lunch, or you do a good an aha you had for the day, or maybe you talk about a problem that you had or something that worked really well. or those kind of things just really work good. And don't worry about always being perfect. People hate perfection, right? It's like nobody wants to see the girl that always looks, or the guy that just always looks so perfectly dapper. And they call it fake book, not Facebook, because they want real. So be yourself. And my best posts are the ones where I'm like, getting dressed in the morning without any makeup on, putting my makeup on, talking about a class that I took that day or something, or that night before.
It makes sense. I think like modern or current business falls into this human to human category. People want like, am I business to consumer? Am I business to business? I'm like, human to human crosses all those borders, right? Because if I'm a fan of yours, you could just switch and do something new, and I would be like, I'm now interested in that.
Yes.
Like so I say like personal brand is transportable, right? Like company brand's transferable, and like I could buy your company and then I could assume that brand. Like if somebody buys Nike doesn't go away, but like your brand, your personal brand is transferable. So you could tomorrow decide that you want to sell fitness programs, right? Or like health shakes or whatever. And people are like, that totally makes sense. That lady's on point. I want to know what she's doing. Right. And it would make sense because they're not necessarily fans of the thing that you do. They're fans of you, right?
Yeah.
Or they're familiar with you. And I think that's really cool. And it's as overrated as it is right now, it's underrated by people that actually do the work. I think it's overrated by people that don't do anything other than that. And it's way underrated by people that actually do something for a living. Does that make sense?
Yeah, meaning it's like, yeah, they don't understand the power of it. I do. I don't underrate it. I know. I've seen it just change people's lives, including mine. I mean,
yeah,
it's an attraction based business model instead of a chasing based business model, especially in like real estate and some of these really competitive industries. You're always chasing. And the second you stop chasing, the business goes away. Well, this is an attraction based model, right? Like I'm attracting people towards my brand and towards me. And I'm utilizing digital marketing and the internet to my advantage. People are going on average 2.5+ hours a day on these social media sites. Why not use it to help you,
yeah.
Or you can just do an open house, or you can cold call, or whatever it is that you do. I don't know, but we can't even do open houses right now because of Corona. And it's like there has to be an easier way. And sometimes I'm not saying these traditional models don't work, but why not put some gasoline on it and give it a 21st century marketing twist to it? If you're going to do open houses, then run ads behind it, get the traffic there, right? Make it advantageous to your time and to your seller's time of them having to be away from the property. Just like think out of the box.
That's really cool. That's awesome. So Krista, as we wrap it up, is there something that you can leave us with to just blow our mind, or is there something that we haven't gone over that you'd like to talk about?
Just real quickly, I'll tell you. So if you do the research, and I don't know the exact numbers, I should try to look it up right now. But if you do the research about McDonald's and about Burger King, okay, so would you say that McDonald's is, McDonald's is $130 billion company, okay, and Burger King is a $7 billion company, and they were founded very close to the same time. All right. Do you think that McDonald's is way better than Burger King?
No, and I think Burger King comes out with crazy stuff every once in a while that tries to boost them up, but yeah.
No, in fact, In-N-Out beats the pants off of McDonald's and Burger King, right? Yeah. But the reason why Burger King does so well is because, number one, branding. They brand better than anybody else. When you think McDonald's, everyone knows exactly what comes to mind. It's the golden arch and the clown guy, right?
Mr. Happy Meal, not the okay meal, right?
Yes, yeah, right. And it's like, it's kids, it's fast. Like they have branded like nobody else. So branding is major. I mean, from 130 billion to 7 billion is a huge difference. Also, they make tough choices. For example, they made all of their franchises get the Frappuccino machine to start selling coffee because they saw how well Starbucks did. Now, Another thing they do is they copied Starbucks, right? And they started selling coffee. They made that tough choice, which most people don't want to make because it made all the franchise owners upset because they had to invest in this coffee and all these things. That then later on, that tough choice turned out to be so profitable for them. Okay. They're also very innovative, right? They're very innovative. And they think of things like, taking the pancake and making it a blueberry sandwich and putting it with the egg and the sausage, right? They're very innovative. Okay.
Yep.
Also, they're excellent copiers. Again, the coffee, the blizzard, like the blizzard, right? The blizzard. They've got their blizzard is, what is it? It's like
McFlurry.
Yeah, McFlurry. Yes, exactly. Yeah. They copied the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, right?
Right.
And another thing is they're always first. Like they were the first company to start using fast food, to start utilizing ATM machines. Okay. So those reasons, branding, they make tough choices. They innovate better than anyone else. They copy better than anyone else. And they are always first. That's the difference between a $130 billion a year company selling the exact same thing that came up around the exact same time and a $7 billion company. So they're $123 billion more a year because of those things. It's the same thing with us. We have to be willing to brand ourselves. We have to make tough choices and do things we don't really want to do. We've got to be innovative and do things like video and technology to get that video out there. We have to be willing to copy what already works. We know it works because every one of the Fortune 500 companies are utilizing engagement marketing, right? They're utilizing content marketing to get out there, and it helps if you're first, right? Many like speed. Okay, many like speed. If I had, a $100 bill and a $20 bill, and I said, boom, 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 grab it. The person that grabs the $100 first is going to have 20 times more leverage than the second person. Right now, what if I do $100 and one? Right, there are 100 times more leverage than the $1 bill just by taking that extra second. So I just wanted to leave everybody with that. It's not always easy. It doesn't mean that it's going to be fun and feel good, but if you do it and you do it consistently, you might be like McDonald's and not Burger King.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that fire, leaving us on a super, super high note. I hope everyone can click pause, rewind, and then get out their pen and paper and figure out what you just said and why it's so important for them, because that was super powerful. And I got to thank you, but thank you for your time coming on End Hype. This is amazing. And
thank you for having me. I love it. I love your personality. I love what you're doing. Thanks for including me. I'm honored.
I appreciate it. So for everybody that's listening, this is the only thing that I ask. And this is for me, right? And this is for Krista. So if you got some value out of this, and I know you did, even if it was just the last 30 seconds or so, I know that you got value out of it. Share this, share it on your Facebook, share it on your LinkedIn, right? If you can, go to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, right? Hit that 5 stars, leave us a review. That helps get Krista and myself more visibility, right? And that helps me bring on more fire guests just like Krista to answer the questions that people ask me, right? So if you have a question that, if answered, will take you and your business to the next level, DM me and I'll bring on an expert to preach at you just like Krista. So my name is Callie Keene. This is End Hype.
Thank